What's up, Colin? How you doing?
Just so they know, for the YouTubes, Porkchop.
What's happening, guys? So this lifting footage is from Friday, and we were doing some lifting with Porkchop. Not the meat, but a guy named Brandon. Somebody that I didn't really meet him officially, but he was at the last meet that I did in July, and the only reason I know that is because he had quite the fan base, so there was a lot of people yelling Porkchop throughout the entire meet. He was in my weight class, and we actually, looking back now, they just released the totals, and we had almost the exact same total. He got me by 2.5 kilos, so I believe he was coming back from an injury though, and he's a heck of a lot stronger. His deadlift is really strong, insanely strong. And here he was doing 3 sets of 4 and 405 on squats, and they moved really well. And it was nice to meet him, put a face to the name, because we've talked quite a bit, and really cool guy, really nice guy. So it was really a pleasure to be able to get a workout in with him and just kind of talk about things and get to know him a little bit better. So now this is my friend Daniel. You've seen him a few times before on the channel, and one thing you got to know about Daniel: very, very stubborn lifter, aren't you, Daniel? So he was planning on doing, I believe, 5 sets of 3 at 405 pounds, but since Brandon was doing 3 sets of 4, he of course had to do sets of 5 just to make sure he did more. So I believe he did 3 sets of 5 instead of 5 sets of 3, so the volume was the same, but very stubborn man, and you'll see that later on during the deadlift as well. I've also told him before too, he's by far the strongest person I know who thinks he sucks at absolutely everything. I mean, the guy is really strong, and he can pretty much outlift me on every single lift there is, except for maybe squats, and he thinks he's a wuss. But I'm not a wuss, but he is. Go figure. So anyway, I was doing a 5x2 at 445 pounds on squats along with the AMRAP, which is what you're seeing right now, and then I also did deadlifts. But one thing that I've been noticing, and the guys that were watching were saying too, is I have a tendency to cut my squats just a little bit short on my AMRAP sets. You know, depth is not a problem normally, but when I get to AMRAPs, I have a tendency to kind of protect myself a little bit, I think, and I kind of cheat it just a little bit. Now, they're not high, they're probably right at parallel, but I'd like to make sure that I'm hitting proper depth on every single rep. So that's something I got to think about moving forward. But I was able to get 6 reps at 445, so definitely happy with that, a good number in my mind. And I was actually just talking to my coach a little bit, and he was talking about, since I'm not doing a meet now in December, that we might do testing, so I'm looking forward to hopefully doing that in a couple weeks. Probably, hopefully at least, nailing that 500-pound squat for the first time and seeing how far I can take it. And we'll just have to see where it goes from there, but don't want to get too cocky about it. So then we went on to deadlifts as Porkchop tries to sex up the channel a little bit for you ladies out there. And I learned a valuable lesson. Make sure you don't have an extra plate on one side of the bar if you're doing deadlifts, because doesn't really come off the ground very well when you do that. So I was doing a 4x2 at 460 pounds plus an AMRAP, and I was pretty happy with the way they were moving on this day, especially considering, as you guys saw on Monday, how I just wasn't even able to budget, and I was kind of emotionally and physically drained at that point. So it was nice to be able to bounce back and feel pretty close to 100%. So Porkchop was doing sets of 3 at 515 pounds. I told you, very strong deadlift, and making it look easy. And I was watching him going, man, your deadlift reminds me a lot of Lane's. And I don't know if it's because of the long femurs or whatever, but just the speed off the floor and everything else really was pretty similar, and it just really reminded me of Lane for whatever reason. So here is Mr. Stubborn Man himself, Daniel, again. Didn't do any warm-ups whatsoever, and said, I'm gonna go ahead and pull 515 too. Didn't come off the floor, so straps up, puts on a belt, and then starts repping out 505 completely with no warm-ups whatsoever. Really good idea. So he did 3, and then started to ask us how many that Porkchop was doing, and we just said just do another one, so he did it. So he did 4. To be young again. I'd be in Snap City even with 400 pounds trying to do that, but that's Daniel for you. So here's my AMRAP set. Based on how things were going, I knew I wasn't going to have a whole lot in there. I was doing doubles, and I was hoping to get at least 3, maybe 4 if things felt really good, but wasn't going to push it. And that's something that I've been doing on deadlifts lately, is just making sure once the lockout starts to slow down pretty significantly, I just stop from there and don't try to do anything crazy. So On my third rep, the lockout got pretty slow, so I just called it good. Maybe there would have been another rep in there, but not worth taxing yourself and grinding like crazy or anything, so I'll take it. Pretty happy with it. 460 for 3, good enough for me. Anyway, really awesome meeting you, Brandon, and I hope to get another session in the future, and I'm sure we'll be at the same meet at some point, and good luck at your meet in December. And thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video.